In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Vietnam and Singapore upgrade relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And the MOIT finalizes strategic plans to boost export stability. And Ukraine ready to accept U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire with Russia in our One News.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. On Wednesday morning, Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong chaired a welcoming ceremony and held talks with Party General Secretary To Lam. The two leaders review outstanding achievements in bilateral cooperation, particularly in economic, trade and investment. They also acknowledge positive developments in defense and security cooperation, education and training, science and technology, tourism, labor and people-to-people exchanges. Following more than 5 decades of diplomatic relations and their significant achievements, the two leaders agreed to elevate their relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. This historic milestone opens a new chapter in bilateral relations with a longer-term and more comprehensive vision. At the second meeting of the National Steering Committee on Financial Inclusions on Wednesday morning, Prime Minister Phie, head of the steering committee, emphasized the critical importance of the national financial inclusion strategies for socio-economic development. The Prime Minister outlined 5 key goals while assigning specific tasks to ministry and branches. First, ensure equal access to financial services nationwide, prioritizing people in remote areas, border regions, islands, ethnic groups, disadvantaged groups, and students. Second, develop open and inclusive institutions that serve all segments of society. Third, invest in seamless infrastructure. Fourth, provide training on digital citizenship and the national financial inclusion strategy. Fifth, allocate resources and strengthen coordination between agencies. Prime Minister Phie recently held dialogues with 8 representatives of the foreign investor business community, highlighting Vietnam's proactive approach to international inward investment. The country's new policies to cut processing time and business costs by 30% have garnered strong interest from international investors and media.
Chinese media praised Prime Minister Phie dialogue with Chinese enterprises, highlighting Vietnam's efforts for sustainable growth and its appeal as an investment destination for mutually beneficial cooperation.
Stable government policies, clear ministerial directions, and synchronized infrastructure will drive Vietnam's economic growth and enhance its appeal to foreign investors.
U.S. Deputy Chief of Mission for the U.S. Mission Courtney Beale stated that American businesses see Vietnam as a crucial market and are eager to support its development. This recognition underscores Vietnam's significance not only as a trade partner but also as a strategic regional ally.
A lot of U.S. multinationals and financial investors remain very interested in consumer-related markets of financial services, education, healthcare. In terms of some of the broader, more ambitious targets, the U.S. tech companies are keen on making investments in Vietnam, subject to resolution of some issues around some of the recent regulation that I mentioned before.
In a recent article, Scandasia highlighted the importance of a stable and transparent legal framework in enhancing Vietnam's appeal to foreign investors.
Not only makes time, but listens, and on some topics even immediately issues decisions and asks the appropriate ministries to take them. Well, Vietnam understands that their future needs to be aligned with the future of their investors.
The more and the stronger free trade, the stronger the incentive is to continue to invest. That is oftentimes one of the bigger levers in an operations decision. The second piece of that is magnifying that, and you've alluded to that with other companies.
With total registered capital exceeding $6.9 billion in the first 2 months of this year, FDI enterprises play a key role in Vietnam's economic growth.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade is finalizing an action plan to achieve balanced and sustainable trade with major partners under the direction of the Prime Minister. The ministry has implemented various measures to stabilize exports in response to changing global trade policies.
In the first 2 months of the year, Vietnam's export turnover reached $65.2 billion. Major export associations in Vietnam have developed multiple strategies to address the fluctuating U.S. tariff policies.
Our timber businesses consistently maintain complete traceability records to present to U.S. authorities upon request, while we are diversifying into Middle Eastern and Australian markets. These currently account for only a small portion of our exports.
According to the Ministry of Industry and Trade's calculations, achieving the annual export target of $454 billion will require monthly exports of $37.8 billion for the remainder of the year.
We will coordinate with the Department of Trade Defense and other units in the ministry to advise and guide businesses on how to prevent and combat tax evasion through origin fraud.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade also said it plans to develop proactive scenarios to address potential global trade tensions. The ministry's departments will help businesses expand their market share and minimize risks by promoting trade both within FTA member countries and in key markets.
Vietnam's coffee sector is off to a strong start in 2025 with the prices surging and export reaching unprecedented levels. According to the Vietnam Coffee and Cocoa Associations, February saw coffee export hit 193,031 tons, generating $1.08 billion in revenue. The first time monthly coffee export earnings have surpassed $1 billion mark.
Vietnamese coffee farmers are seeing unprecedented profits as green coffee prices range from $5.14 to $6.21 per kilogram, yielding an estimated $3.50 per kilogram in profit. Unlike previous price surges that disrupted supply chains, this time, businesses are fulfilling contracts without issue.
We have signed many contracts with large companies, ensuring stable output. Although costs are high, we are not pressured to lower prices. This gives us confidence in maintaining production.
We need to support farmers in maintaining stable prices so they don't switch to other crops. This will help sustain yield and quality in the long run.
Experts note that after peaking in February, coffee export prices have begun to stabilize. By fostering a high-quality coffee supply chain, the industry aims to sustain long-term development and competitiveness in global markets.
High-quality coffee operates within a chain market where both buyers and sellers set their own prices.
Though rising coffee prices bring optimism, experts emphasize the need for strategic planning to sustain Vietnam's position in the global coffee market. To achieve the ambitious goal of surpassing $6 billion in exports this year, instead of mass planting for short-term gains, farmers should focus on sustainable practices such as adopting green, clean, and environmentally friendly production methods to enhance the value of Vietnamese coffee beans.
Saline intrusion in the Mekong Delta is on the rise, affecting both daily life and agriculture production. However, farmers in Hậu Giang province have turned this challenge into an opportunity for aquaculture. In Lương Nghĩa Commune, Long My District, farmers are converting their fields after the winter-spring rice harvest by building banks and preparing the land for saltwater farming. The process involved two key stages. First, pumping salt water into the field to decompose straw, which create natural food for giant freshwater prawns, giant tiger prawns, and white lake shrimp. Once the water reaches a salinity of 5 to 7 parts per thousand, farmers pumped in a second route of water and released the shrimp for cultivation. This saltwater aquaculture season runs annually from April to September. The Vietnam Circular Agriculture Association is following the example of farmers in the Mekong Delta by promoting the use of natural conditions to create specialties products, contributing to the development of organic and circular agriculture. So far, the association has established 23 cooperatives comprising nearly 1,500 households in an integrated agricultural economic chain. These households receive technical training, learn from successful models, and obtain essential resources like organic microbial fertilizers, biological products, and animal feed. The Quế Lâm Group purchases their products at stable prices above their rate. Additionally, the association continues to expand its network of organic agricultural product stores to provide more outlets for participating households. Before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at the currency exchange rate for today. Coming up next on VTV News, digital technology enhances education in mountainous area. And Vietnam music industry attracts international investors. The Central Highlands holds a strategic position and has become a target for hostile forces seeking to undermine Vietnam national unity. According to the Ministry of Public Security, exiled reactionary organizations have been inciting and deceiving ethnic groups into crossing the border illegally to Thailand by falsely promising asylum in a third country. This so-called refugee resettlement scheme has left many trapped in legal limbo, living illegally in Thailand while clinging to false hopes of a better future, yet facing only uncertainty and hardship.
At the end of February, international media reported that more than 60 ethnic people from Vietnam's Central Highlands were arrested in Bangkok for illegal entry. According to the Ministry of Public Security, approximately 1,300 Vietnamese ethnic people currently reside illegally in Thailand. Many have been lured and manipulated by hostile groups that exploit religious and economic issues to encourage migration.
He assured us that going to Thailand would result in no arrests and that we were just attending a Daega Protestant meeting.
They promised it was a great place with plenty of money where we could work and earn.
We spent over $4,000 in travel expenses. Life there was miserable, and now my children can't even read or write.
For many who cross the border into Thailand, reality falls far short of the promises made to them. Living conditions are dire, and many become unwitting pawns, used as living witnesses to support misleading narratives spread by reactionary exile organizations. Groups like the BPSOS, led by Nguyen Dinh Phang, and MSFJ maintain that most Vietnamese asylum seekers in Thailand are fleeing religious persecution. The truth on the ground, however, reveals a different story.
I crossed the border believing I would find work, but reality was different. They only wanted me to speak out against the party and the state, and I did, just so they could film me.
They forced me to go on YouTube to criticize the Vietnamese Communist Party, but I realized what they were doing was wrong. They were just deceiving me.
They exploit the identities of ethnic people abroad to spread false narratives. defaming the party, the government, and the homeland. But all of this information is completely fabricated. Their ultimate goal is to falsely accuse Vietnam of human rights violations and suppressing democratic freedoms.
Vietnamese individuals residing illegally in Thailand often remain trapped by false hopes of sponsorship to a third country. Meanwhile, with increasingly strict immigration policies, they face ongoing uncertainty while struggling to survive in makeshift shelters.
Our police force has actively engaged in direct dialogues in Thailand, explaining the situation to help people understand the reality. We are ready to welcome them back and provide them with the best conditions for a fresh start so they can rebuild their lives.
When I saw the police by my side, I couldn't hold back my tears. I am deeply grateful. Life is better in my hometown.
I've been through it and know how hard it is. I hope that people can focus on making a living in their own villages and not be misled by those trying to lure them to Thailand.
Vietnam has the golden opportunity to make significant advances in artificial intelligence and semiconductor technology. And to see this opportunity, the country must connect technologies with the global ecosystems and work toward mastering key technology platforms. This assessment was made at the opening sessions of the International Conference on Artificial Intelligence and Semiconductors 2025, held Wednesday morning in Hanoi. The conference drew approximately 1,000 experts, scientists, and leading businesses from the global AI and semiconductor sectors. According to experts, the integration of AI into chip design and manufacturing is an emerging trend reshaping the semiconductor industry. With its stable political environment and strategic positions in the global supply chain, Vietnam has become an attractive destination for international investors. To capitalize on this position, a Vietnamese company must rapidly adopt advanced technologies and develop a workforce of world-class microchip designers. Digital connectivity has reached numerous schools across Vietnam's remote mountainous regions, transforming the way students learn. In Sơn La province, this technology is making learning more accessible and bridging gap for students in hard-to-reach areas. And with improved connectivity, teachers can access diverse teaching resources while enabling students to explore learning methods beyond traditional textbooks.
At Sim Vang Primary and Secondary Boarding School in Sơn La Province, internet access was once a distant dream. Today, however, the expansion of fiber optic internet to remote schools has transformed both teaching and learning.
I really enjoy studying computer science because it helps me learn more about the world.
Internet-enabled devices make lessons more engaging, while teachers introduce us to useful educational websites.
Schools throughout Vietnam are integrating digital technology into their teaching and management systems, which has led to substantial improvements in educational quality.
While internet access has reached many schools in Sơn La province, many satellite schools still struggle with connectivity. In the past, teachers had to spend entire days traveling just to submit paper lesson plans. Since 2020, we have shifted to digital documents, making the process much more efficient.
Thanks to the internet, the knowledge gap between mountainous and urban areas continues to narrow.
With access to digital tools and resources, new horizons have opened up for students in remote areas, creating pathways to a more promising future.
Nearly twice the national average of employees holding university degrees or higher are drawn to Ho Chi Minh City. However, local businesses still face challenges in recruiting qualified candidates. On Tuesday, a joint job fair was held in Ho Chi Minh City to support business recruitment drives.
Instead of holding separate events, the two largest employment service centers in Ho Chi Minh City joined forces to organize this year's first job fair.
Businesses require diverse and abundant human resources. However, the current workforce is insufficient to meet these demands.
This year, 10 to 15% of this business's recruitment is for skilled labor. However, finding over 100 suitable candidates is not easy. The gap between job requirements and applicants' existing skills has led to changes in recruitment criteria.
Knowledge and skills are secondary considerations. Our company prioritizes candidates with a good attitude during interviews and provides more intensive training for knowledge and skills during the probation period.
This strategy is also adopted by this 100% foreign-owned company specializing in electronics and optics.
The company has provided candidates with a tiered training program from onboarding to promotion to higher positions. This system helps them to grasp practical knowledge and adapt to the job quickly.
These two fresher students have taken this opportunity to learn about the requirements of the labor market.
Preparing is never enough. I want to be well equipped upon graduation. I will have more job opportunities if I know more about individual businesses.
To address the skilled workforce challenge, applicants and companies must be proactive and have diverse forms of job connections. Cracking this problem will help businesses achieve their development goals.
The Vietnamese music industry has recently experienced a surge in concerts, drawing record-breaking crowds. At the end of last year, the two shows, Call Me by Fire and Brothers Say Hi, drew hundreds of thousands of attendees across their Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi venues. And beyond their domestic success, Vietnamese music programs and products are now garnering significant attention from both the public and international investors.
The program Call Me by Fire, broadcast on VTV3 channel, reached 3.5 million households across 25 countries worldwide. For the two music nights in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, fans from 25 countries traveled to Vietnam to attend the concerts.
I was really impressed with the Call Me by Fire show because it is not only that the production company comes up with it, but they actually has a really close collaboration with the Vietnamese government, the TV, state-owned TV channel, and that's where they have the collaboration to come up with the, the content that's really suitable for Vietnamese people.
I would definitely invest in Vietnam. I was just talking about it with my mom the other day because I think that this country has so much potential and a lot of people look past it, but I think this could be the future for the rest of us.
According to the Vietnam National Institute of Culture and Arts, the two concert nights of Call Me by Fire generated revenue of more than $13.3 million.
What foreign investors appreciate is the Vietnamese audience love for local entertainment programs. Not only that, but the Vietnamese community also has its own cultural identity.
Revenue from online music streaming reached $40 million in 2024. The Vietnamese digital music market is forecast to grow 8 to 10% annually, with projected revenue exceeding $66 million in 2025.
Coming up next in World News, Ukraine ready to accept U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire with Russia. And Australia rules out retaliatory move as U.S. implements steel import tariffs. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced his country's acceptance of a 30-day ceasefire proposed by the United States. This marks a step toward peace restoration in Ukraine. The ceasefire proposal has garnered widespread support from international leaders.
Speaking after high-level talks between U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia, Ukrainian President Zelensky immediately welcomed the U.S. ceasefire proposal.
And today, there was a proposal from the American side to take the first step right away and attempt to establish a complete ceasefire for 30 days, not only regarding missiles, drones, and bombs, not only in the Black Sea, but also along the entire front line. Ukraine is ready to accept this proposal. We see it as a positive step and are ready to take it.
The U.S. announced plans for high-level discussions with Russia in the coming days. Additionally, the U.S. Secretary of State will present peace proposals for Ukraine at the upcoming G7 foreign ministers meeting. During negotiations between the U.S. and Ukraine, Washington also agreed to resume security assistance and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. The U.S. proposed ceasefire was immediately welcomed by leaders of many countries. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa announced on social network X that this is a positive development that could be a step towards a comprehensive, fair, and lasting peace for Ukraine.
Australia will not impose reciprocal tariff on the United States, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said on Wednesday. This announcement came after the White House announced that the previously planned 25% tariff on all imported steel and aluminum products into the U.S. from all countries would take effect on Wednesday. Prime Minister Albanese called the decision entirely unjustified and against the spirit of the two nations, but explained that imposing reciprocal tariff would only increase prices for Australian consumers and fuel inflation. He pledged to continue lobbying the U.S. administration for a reprieve while Australia works to diversify its steel and aluminum markets. High-value cyber fraud cases in India quadrupled in fiscal 2024, resulting in losses of $20 million, according to official data. During this period, the number of cases where victims lost more than $1,000 rose from 7,000 to over 29,000. The Indian Ministry of Finance emphasized that financial fraud, particularly in digital transactions, has surged recently. In response, the Indian government has published a handbook and launched media awareness campaigns urging people to guard against cybercrimes, evolving tactics and methods. And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download a mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.